Hi, this is James Frey with Alberta Health Services. We're with student dietitian Jasmine Sharunas at the Westside Save on Foods. Before we talk about milk and milk alternatives, what are some things that people should be aware of, just generally, about eating healthy on a budget?
So there are some really simple things that you can do and some tips that you can stick to save money while eating healthy on a budget. Some of the things you can do are shopping the perimeter of the grocery store. So on the perimeter is kind of where all the fresh produce is found, where all the fresh meat and alternatives, milk and alternatives, and grain products are. These items tend to be a lot less processed and therefore a lot more affordable. Processing tends to add a lot of cost to the companies, and these costs are then passed on to the consumer. So looking for foods that have been less processed is a really great way to try and save some money. Another thing is to have a list before you go to the store and try to stick to it as best you can. Another tip is to try to not shop hungry, because when you're hungry you kind of tend to buy things that you don't necessarily need, which can make you spend a lot more money. Another great tip is to kind of look at the flyer and see what is on sale so you can pre-plan a little bit about what you're going to buy.
Jasmine, when we talk about dairy products, cheese comes to mind with a lot of people.
Right, so there are a few things that you can do to save some money on your cheese. One thing is to stick to the store brand over the national brand. It tends to be a lot cheaper. Another thing is to buy a block of cheese and shred it yourself rather than buying the shredded one. This can save you $2 on 400 grams of cheese, which is great. Another thing is to, kind of look for the lighter cheeses, and you want to do this with all dairy products. Stick to the lower fat ones because they are a lot healthier and they're usually the same price. Another great thing to look at when you're buying cheese is trying to stick to a block of cheese like this versus the slices, because in the slices there's a lot less of the calcium and the protein and more fat and sodium. They're comparable prices, but this is a much better bang for your nutritional buck because you're getting all the protein, the calcium, and less fat.
When we're talking about milk, it's important that people drink a lot of milk, right?
Yeah, so a great way to save money on milk is if you have a bigger family or you're going to drink it, to get the 4-liter jug once a week instead of coming back and getting more of the 2-liter or the smaller jugs. This way you save quite a bit more money and you don't have to come back to the store. It's really important that everyone drinks 2 cups of milk every day. That's the Canada's Food Guide's recommendation, and you can drink milk or an alternative to milk if you have allergies or lactose intolerance. Yogurt is a great alternative to milk. It's full of calcium and vitamin D and protein. A great way to save some money when you're buying your yogurt is to stick to the store brand versus the national brand. So something like this versus the national brand can actually save you $1.20 per one container. So that's some pretty good savings.
Are there any final tips that people need to be aware of when they're buying milk and milk alternatives on a budget?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing to save money is to stick to the store brand versus the national brand. This will save you a lot of money. So another thing, it's just really important to get enough milk and alternatives every day. Everyone should be having 2 cups of milk or a milk alternative. These are a great source of protein, calcium, and vitamin D. It's also important to stick to the lower fat options when you're shopping for milk and milk alternatives.
Jasmine, this has been some great information. Thank you very much for joining us. Join us again next time when we have another Healthy Eating on a Budget program.